Hello everyone and welcome back to exercise number 33 of the SolidWorks Basic Tutorial Series. In this video, we're going to be designing a pipe support clamp. Now, as always, in implementing this part within SolidWorks, we're going to be using many of the SolidWorks features, namely the extrude boss base feature and extrude cut feature. Here we see the schematic drawing for exercise number 33. All dimensions are in millimeters. Here we see the isometric view, the top view, front view, and we see a detailed view showcasing the details for the counterbore feature of the component, along with the dimensions. Okay, so in modeling this part, I think we should follow a feature-based approach, basically assigning steps for the modeling process that correspond with a number of features that we see. And looking at the component here, I think we have three main features that characterize this exercise. We have the main body of the component, that is characterized by the side profile, the front profile of the component. Again, we can just sketch out the front profile using the sketch tools and then using the extrude boss base tool to create thickness or the depth of the extrusion. Of course, we're going to use the mid-plane extrusion here. The second step involves creating these cylindrical posts at the top, along with these square openings. Again, step 3 here involves creating these counterbore features, and here we have 6 counterbore holes. And notice here that we have symmetry for the component along the y-axis, so it's sufficient that we only work on 3 counterbore holes and then use the mirror tool to create the other 3 to the other side. All right, so to recap, to summarize, we're going to model this part in SolidWorks in 3 main steps. Step number 1 is to work on creating this main body of the component. Step number 2 involves working on these cylindrical posts, and step number 3 involves creating the 6 counterbore holes for the component, 3 on each side. All right, so with that aside, let's get started with exercise number 33. Okay, so we start by creating a new SolidWorks part. We set the background to plain white, and we copy exercise number 33 into SolidWorks. All right, so as I said previously, step 1 here involves sketching out the front profile of the component. So to start, select front plane, sketch, and looking at the figure here, we have a front profile that involves 2 concentric circles, right? So starting from the origin here, select circle and draw 2 concentric circles, 1 and 2, all right? But if you notice here that we have a semicircle, it's not a complete circle, right? So what do? We select line, or actually before that, let's just go ahead and assign the dimensions for these 2 circles. Here we see that the outer circle should have a diameter, a radius of 40 millimeters. So that corresponds to a diameter of 80 millimeters. So select smart dimension, and the diameter of this circle should be 80 millimeters. The inner circle has a radius of 30 millimeters. So the diameter here should be 60 millimeters. Now we need to divide this circle into 2 halves. So select the line tool, and starting from this point, draw a horizontal line. Select the Trim Entities tool and delete this bottom half in addition to this circle, this line right here, leaving behind half of the circle that we just created. And then select OK. All right, so now we need to work on creating the features here that involve the side protrusion. And again, we just have to draw one of them and then use the mirror tool to mirror it to the other side. So select line tool, and let's go ahead and draw the profile for this protrusion to the side. Okay, select smart dimension, and now let's assign the dimensions for these lines. We see here that the length of this edge should be 10 millimeters. By default, this is already 10. Distance between this top edge and this bottom edge should be 20 millimeters. Again, this is according to the figure. Right, and here we see that the distance between this edge and this edge overall is 110. Since we're only drawing 1/2, and the part is symmetrical along the y-axis, we can simply say the distance from the center or the origin component to this edge should be 55 millimeters, which is half of 110 millimeters, right? So the distance between this edge and this origin here should be 55 millimeters. All right, so trim entities, and let's delete this line here, this partitioning line. Okay, now we need to mirror these lines to the other side. So before we do that, let's draw a center line, a vertical center line, starting from the origin here, all the way to the top. Let's select mirror entities, and here's going to ask you for the entities to mirror. Go ahead and select the lines that you've just drawn. Mirror about this vertical line, and then select OK. From entities again, and delete this line right here. Now we have the basic sketch profile for the front of the component. So now we can go to Features, Extrude Boss Base. And for this profile, this sketch right here, we're going to perform a mid-plane extrusion. So go ahead and assign the end condition as mid-plane, right? And from the schematic drawing here, we see that we should extrude this to an overall length of 120 millimeters. So go ahead and assign a extrusion depth of 120 millimeters. All right, and then select OK. So that completes phase 1, which is creating the main body for the component. Now we're going to move on to step 2, which involves creating these cylindrical posts at the top. But before we actually start any drawing or any sketching, we notice here that we need a new drawing plane that is independent from the 3 drawing planes that we already have in SolidWorks. Specifically, we need a drawing plane that is 55 millimeters away from this top surface right here, right? So we can actually draw circles that represent these cylindrical posts at the top. So what do? We hover over top plane, and we see that the top plane actually coincides with this surface right here, which corresponds to this horizontal line. So let's go to Reference Geometry and select Plane. Here it's going to ask you for the first reference. So go ahead and expand this design tree and say that we want to create a new drawing plane that is relative to the top plane of the component. So select top plane. All right. And here's going to ask you, okay, you want to create a new drawing plane, but how far away do you want it from the top plane? So here we already see that it's 55 millimeters, right? So again, select OK. Now we have a new drawing plane that is 55 millimeters away from this surface right here. Again, this corresponds to the information that is shown in the figure. Okay, so now we select this plane, simply right-click, and then select Sketch. All right? Select Circle, and then looking at the top view of the component here, we see that we have 2 circles, 1 and 2, and these 2 circles are basically situated midway between the components, so there's symmetry between the 2 circles. So what do? Starting from the origin here, we move vertically upwards and draw a single circle. All right? Set the relation between the center of this circle and this origin here as vertical. All right? And from the figure here, we see that these cylindrical posts should have a diameter of 40 millimeters. So select Smart Dimension and assign a diameter for this circle as 40 millimeters. The distance between the 2 circles should be 60 millimeters. So half of it should be 30. So the distance between this origin and this the center of the circle should be 30 millimeters. Now we need to mirror this circle to the other side. So to do that, first of all, we need to draw a mirroring line. So select Center Line, and let's draw a horizontal center line. Select Mirror Entities, and select this circle as the entity to mirror. Mirror about this horizontal line, and then select OK. Right? Now I think we're ready to extrude these 2 circles to a surface. So now go to Features, Extrude Boss Base. And here set the end condition to up to surface. All right. So we're going to extrude these 2 circles that we've just drawn up to what surface? This curved surface right here. And we have a preview showing what it looks like. And then select OK. Right. And now this procedure just created the 2 cylindrical posts. Now, we don't need this drawing plane anymore, so we can simply just right-click on the plane and select Hide. And there it is, it's gone. Now we need to work on creating these square openings at the top. So select this top face, Sketch, select Center Rectangle, and starting from the center of this circle, draw a single rectangle. And from the figure here, we see that the rectangle is actually a square that is 20 millimeters by 20. So select Smart Dimension and assign a length for this edge as 20 millimeters, and the other edge should be 20 millimeters as well. We need to mirror this square to the other side. So again, let's draw a central line starting from the origin. Mirror entities, and here just simply select all the entities here, mirror about this horizontal line, and then select OK. Right? And then go to Features, Extrude Cut, and we're going to cut this all the way through the component, and then select OK. Right? Now that creates the opening for the two cylindrical posts. Finally, we're going to work on creating these 6 counterbore holes, 3 on each side. So let's select this face, sketch. Again, you can use either the wizard tool or this by simply just drawing circles and using the extrude cut tool. We're going to use the second method, which is a lot easier. Select this circle and starting from the origin here, move horizontally, sorry, and then draw a single circle. Here we see a detailed figure or image of the counterbore feature, showcasing all the dimensions. And here we see that we have the diameter of the larger circle should be 10 millimeters, whereas the smaller circle should have a diameter of 6 millimeters. The first extrusion should be to a depth of 2 millimeters. Overall, the extrusion should be 10 millimeters. So what's remaining here should be 8 millimeters, right? So select Smart Dimension, and this circle should have a diameter of 10 millimeters. And from the figure here, we see that the distance between these two counterbore features overall should be 95 millimeters. And since there's symmetry for the part along the y-axis, simply just say that the distance between the origin and the center of the circle should be 95 divided by 2. All right? Now let's draw another circle, this time right here. Smart Dimension, this also has a diameter of 10 millimeters. The distance between this edge and this circle should be 20 millimeters. Again, this is according to the figure, as you can see right here. All right, so now we need to mirror this top circle to the other side. So simply draw a horizontal center line. Select Mirror Entities, and here's going to ask you for the entities to mirror. Select this line, this circle, and mirror about this horizontal line, and then select OK. Now, go to Features, Extrude Cut. We're going to cut this to a depth of exactly 2 millimeters, and then select OK. Now we need to work on creating the hole for the smaller circle here. So select this face, sketch, select circle, and draw a circle starting from this point. And perform the same procedure for these two circles, one at the top and one at the bottom. And each of these circles should have a diameter of 6 millimeters. So this should be 6 millimeters. Now go to Features, Extrude Cut, and we need to cut this all the way through the component to the other side by simply dragging the arrow here downwards, right? And then select OK. Now we need to mirror these 3 counterbore holes to the other side. So select Mirror, and here it's going to ask you for the face or plane you want to mirror along. Simply expand this design tree and select the right plane. And you see here that the right plane divides the component equally in half. And here it's going to ask you for the features to mirror. So go ahead and select also this face right here. We have a preview showcasing what it looks like on the other side, and then select OK. Right? Finally, we need to round out certain edges. In this case, we see here that we have this edge corresponding to the edge dividing between the cylindrical posts and the main body of the component. Also, we have a fillet radius, I think, for these edges right here. 5. Each of the fillet radius here have a radius of 5 millimeters. So we'll go ahead and assign a fillet radius of 5 and select these edges. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also, these 2 edges, 1 and 2. And then select OK. Now delete this image. Set the view to perspective. Let's assign a material. Let's select ASI 1020 steel, apply, close, and let's assign a color for this component. Let's go ahead and select orange, and let's change the saturation a bit. And then select OK. All right, so that concludes exercise number 33. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. I'll see you all in exercise number 35. Until we meet again, bye-bye.